What is going on, guys? Thank you so much for tuning in to yet another episode of the Sports Muse podcast. I am your host, Kevin Brumley, and I am joined by my co-host today, John. John, how you doing?
Doing better. Got a negative on my coronavirus test, so that's all good.
There we go, man. We're healthy. We're kicking. I love it.
Yeah.
So we're breaking down some AFC East football. We're starting off with the Patriots. Patriot Nation, make sure you drop your prediction in the comments, man. And also subscribe. And if you would have subscribed before, Tom Brady would have stayed with New England. So it's kind of on you. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. But make sure you drop your prediction in the comments. Subscribe, like, all that fun stuff. But the Patriots, man, last year, 12-4, classic Patriots, always winning double digits, always winning the East. To go through some of their additions and re-signing, they got, Bo Allen, Brian Hoyer, Marquise Lee, McCourty came back, Adrian Phillips, Matthew Slater, the special team ace, and they tagged Joe Tooney. Departures, some guy named Tom Brady, I guess. I don't know. He's supposed to be good. Philip Dorsett, Ben Watson, Ted Karras, Danny Shelton, Landon Roberts, Jamie Collins, Kyle Van Noy, Daron Harmon. What are you thinking about the additions and departures, John?
I think when you first look at it, the departures are kind of bigger names, like Kyle Van Noy, Jamie Collins. Tom Brady. I guess he's kind of a big name. And then when you see who they added, they didn't add any of those big name, any big name people. Getting Devin McCourty back and Matthew Slater, yeah, they're huge. They're going to be huge on the Patriots again. I guess Cam's a big name, but I kind of wasn't thinking about that. Other than that, I feel like they didn't add much. I thought they might add. I'm sure they tried, but I thought they would get a bigger name receiver, but they didn't get one. So hopefully, but not like you can count Bill Belichick out. He kind of knows what he's doing.
So yeah, you threw out this, and you're right. Is when I did these additions originally, Cam Newton was not a New England Patriot. So, and I was going to talk about it separately. Their newest addition, Cam Newton. Do you like the signing of Cam Newton for the Patriots?
If you can get him for what was it, $7 million, but mostly incentive based.
Yeah.
Yeah. How can you not pay someone as good as Cam just that little? How many quarterbacks are getting paid more than that probably aren't going to play a snap this year?
Josh Dobbs is making more as the backup quarterback in Jacksonville than Cam Newton is in base salary this year.
Yeah, how are more teams not just jumping on this? I would have so much problem with my GM if they didn't talk to Cam. And what did he say? Only the Patriots and the Browns talked to him, right? That's absurd.
Weird.
Yeah.
I get it. Cam Newton, is getting older. He's a run-first quarterback. His arm didn't look great when he did play a little bit. He needed the surgery. Man, I'm taking a flyer on Cam Newton. Why not? If I need a quarterback, why wouldn't I want to get Cam Newton? I love it, man. And honestly, so when I originally broke down the Patriots, I thought the same thing, man. Their departures, losing, Karras, Van Noy, Harmon, Danny Shelton. I was like, ooh, they might be in a little bit of trouble. Offense, they lose the greatest quarterback of all time. Cam Newton's not Tom Brady, but Cam Newton is a, former MVP. The dude can play. It definitely changes how I view their season going with that signing. Let's get into their draft picks a little bit. Of course, they trade out of the first round. Classic New England. They get Kyle Duggar, who I really like. If you were kind of somebody that's into the NFL draft, he was one of those D2 guys who is an athletic freak, who kind of didn't have the name value of some of the guys, but he's definitely a Patriot through and through. They got Josh Ochai, Anthony Jennings. So they got some guys who can play, some very Patriot-type players. Roster breakdown. So they lost 4 guys on offense with over 40% of their snaps and 4 guys on defense that had over 50% of their defensive snaps. So they lost not just some guys, but they lost some starters, some big play guys. So that's going to be interesting of how their depth was with the guys they drafted, with the guys they signed, how they can replace those snaps. They're a little younger and relatively unknown on offense. So the question is, who can step up? What are you thinking as far as a roster?
Yeah, I think it's going to be tough. You need some of those younger receivers to step up. Edelman, he's getting so beat up. And then him and Cam or Stidham, whoever starts, is not going to have the connection that he had with Brady. So I think that might be a little rocky at first. And I don't know. I just think you'll need those like skill positions to really step up without Tom Brady being able to make those pinpoint accuracy throws.
And I completely agree with you. What can we see from N'Keal Harry in year two? Mohamed Sanu, who, I don't love, but I like him. Didn't do great with Brady. Maybe he kind of steps up, with being a little bit more familiar with the playbook. They do have some guys. The backfield's kind of crowded. I don't know about you, but I'm not a big Sony Michel fan. So I'm kind of curious what they, does he still get a majority of the snaps? Do they kind of go out of the gun a little bit more, play a little bit more Burkhead, James White? I don't really know. I'm trying to think. Who's
Yeah.
the Alabama running back they have? I'm blanking on his name. Harris.
Yeah. Damian
Harris. Yep. So maybe he gets some playing time. I'm not sure what they're going to do, but they definitely need some people to step up on offense and on defense. But luckily their defense was so like historically great the first half of the season last year that we know they have the talent. But it's going to be like, your Chase Winovich, those kind of guys that need to take that next step forward, which brings me to biggest question marks. What do you think the Patriots' biggest question mark is?
I think at the moment it's probably tight end and wide receiver. They did draft, 2 tight ends right back to back. Yeah, so I think with those people, those are going to be the biggest. I think that's where they struggled the most last year. Like you said, their defense really held it down. Their secondary is just gross. Gilmore, McCourty brothers, Jonathan Jones. So I just think their offense is where it's really going to need to step up because that's where they were lacking last year with Tom Brady. So, I just definitely think it's going to be the tight end wide receiver area that needs to step up a lot.
To me, my biggest question mark is how does Bill Belichick get the best out of Cam Newton? We know he likes running quarterbacks. We know that – I shouldn't say we know this, but there's been a long-going rumor that, Belichick's the greatest football coach of all time probably. And you always hear, was it Brady that won or was it Belichick that won?
Mm-hmm.
And there's been a long going thing that Belichick's wanted a worse quarterback to prove that his system wins out. So Cam Newton's no slouch, like I said. But I'm kind of curious, what does he draw up schematically? What do the 2020 Patriots look like with somebody like a Cam Newton? So that's kind of my biggest question mark. And that goes into that wide receiver tight end position. Who's Cam's top targets? Is James White as involved in the passing game? We're not exactly sure about that. So let's go to how do they stack up in that division, the AFC East?
Right now, I have them finishing second. It's hard. Because we just don't know what their offense is going to look like. Because I think someone like with Belichick and Cam, we've seen Belichick change game plans in the week of, what was it, the year that Tom Brady was suspended? Was that 2016? When Jimmy G got hurt, and then they had to put Brissett in, they completely changed the game plan, and then they still end up, I think, winning a Thursday night game. And it's stuff like that Belichick's gonna just bring out the best in people. So it was hard to put them at second, but I had them finishing second.
Yeah, they're just so far ahead of the game as far as coaching. Let's not forget they won double digits with Matthew Castle. I guess they can literally win any which way. We know that defense is great. So before they signed Cam, my take was going to be, I think they're going to be the first NFL team to hard tank. I thought they were going to go after Trevor Lawrence, and I thought they were going to be try to be bad. That was kind of my original idea with the signing of Cam. I don't know. I'm kind of curious, and it honestly just boils down to what does Cam have left? How much does his body have left in it? I think they stack up fairly well, though.
What was that?
I said I think they stack up fairly well with the AFC East, though. What were you saying?
Yeah. And the workout videos Cam's posting, he looks great, and maybe that rest is really what he needed, because I feel like someone like Cam, he's such a competitor that he never wanted to rest, never want to take that time off, so he kept playing through injuries, which then made him worse. and then that was really throwing him off. So I think like having this much rest between last year and this year, I mean, it could be great for him. So I'm hoping I think he'll play well this year.
Yeah, I'm thinking so. What do you think their record is going to be? What is your prediction?
I put 9-7, but I was like 10-6, 9-7. It was right between that, but I settled on 9-7.
So I'm completely with you. I was between those two records, and I actually ended up going 9-7 as well. Um, but like I said, man, it could be Cam Newton comes out, isn't the same guy first 2 or 3 weeks, and they go into tank mode potentially. But it could be Cam Newton is pretty close to MVP form, and they end up winning 11 games. You know what I mean? So it really could go either way, and I know every NFL team is like that. But yeah, man, it's going to be interesting because I feel like we're really going to see the best of Bill Belichick.
Yeah,
So I'm pretty excited for it.
that's why I had a lot of trouble like thinking that they would tank for Trevor because at first I was like excited for that, but then I was like, I cannot see Belichick like being like, yeah, okay, we'll lose. Like I just feel like he's too much of a competitor, and like he just wants to prove everyone how good he is with a not great team, and he's proven that before. So I was like, man, I cannot see someone like him tanking.
So I thought the same thing because I was like, oh, yeah, he's not going to want to waste a year. But they're also the team that is constantly like on the fringe of the rules. And like no one's ever done really hardcore tanking in the NFL. Like the Dolphins kind of did last year, but they actually, overexceeded what they thought they were going to do.
Yeah.
But Belichick's the kind of guy where like he'll put his punter at quarterback, just be like, yeah, we're gonna lose this game. I don't care. Because he's like, joke's on you. I'm gonna have Trevor Lawrence for the next 20 years. I'm gonna coach till I die. He's that kind of guy where you just don't know.
Yeah.
Do you have any parting shots?
I just think actually Cam like does really well, and whether this is a year that this is a contract that he uses to springboard himself to like an even better contract, not on the Patriots next year. I mean, I just think this is a great opportunity for both of them. And I think it works out well. I think he plays well. Offense looks good, but I just think they kind of struggle. And I mean, the 9-7 and second in the division is nothing like against them. I just think the Bills are a little bit better paced. So
I agree with you. So my parting shot is it's a question for you. Over the past 20 years, the Patriots' success, what percentage do you give credit to Tom Brady and what percentage do you give to Belichick?
That's a tough one. I think you almost have to split it in half. I mean, because look at something like last year when the offense didn't really do much. Like the offense couldn't carry them last year. They needed that defense to be as stifling as they were in the beginning of the year. I mean, who knows how those games would have went because we saw when that defense started to face harder teams and couldn't hold teams down anymore. I mean, they started losing. So, I mean, I just imagine I think you got to almost do – I would maybe do 55% Belichick, 45% Tom Brady because Belichick's basically in control of the whole team, and Brady only really takes care of half of the ball.
Okay, so I would actually think I would flip it, and I would go a little bit heavier with Brady, maybe like a 60-40, for the simple fact that he's always taking less money than what he could have.
True.
Okay, and the Patriots, like besides a few years when they had like Moss, Gronk, Aaron Hernandez, they've always kind of not had supreme talent around Brady.
Definitely.
And I feel like Brady's been able to carry them like they do have supreme talent on offense because Brady's so, he's the GOAT for a reason. So I think like they were able to always stack up on the D a little bit more than on what they did on the O because of the greatness of Tom Brady. But man, like there's really they're both the greatest of what they've done. You know what I mean? Greatest coach, greatest quarterback, greatest coach, quarterback combination of all time.
Yeah, agreed. And that's what's crazy is, I mean, I just think when people argue it, I just think it's such a moot point because even this year, I don't think this is a fair comparison year. I mean, the Buccaneers look like their team's so much better than the Patriots, like just the way the rosters are looking. So I don't know if this is really like a fair year to compare it.
Sure. So guys, if you like the episode, click subscribe, and show your boy some love. Until next time.